1998. He's done it before, and he's been to the televised stages every year since. The highest seeded player left in the event, number 2, is going to be a very, very tough match this for the Frenchman. The man from just outside of Lyon, Yannick Bofees, seeded number 11 in this event. He reached the semi-finals back in 1999. Mentally, he's very strong, and he's also feeling very confident.
Sure, yeah, his pedigree's very good. You know, he wins tournaments regular in France, and he comes over here, he does very well in this championships every year. Second time at the TV stage, so, you know, he's probably hoping to go a little further than he has done in the past.
He could well do. This one then will complete the semi-final lineup. I'll hand you over to our MC, Alan Hughes.
Thank you, Mark. And now let's meet the players. And a man appeared in his first World quarter-final and bidding to become the first Frenchman to win the title. His opponent, a former world finalist, a former Embassy World Champion. Together, ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome Yannick Bofees and Carl Houdini Morris.
Carl Houdini Morris then, looking for a place in the semi-finals up against Yannick Bofees from France. It's a first to 9, a best of 17 match. I'll hand you over to our commentary team of Alec Evernadas, Tony Holgate, and first of all, Jim White.
Well, on paper, Carl Morris, the event's number 2 seed, up against Yannick Bofees. And Morris has been in the finals of this event on 2 separate occasions, once a winner, once a loser. But I can tell you in the last 5 years, he has made it through to the televised section. This, the opening frame as Morris breaks off a best of 17 clash against the young Frenchman, 23-year-old Yannick Bofees. And Bofees, a losing semi-finalist in 1999 when he went down to the eventual champion, Quinton Hahn from Australia. The gentleman, a lot expected from this young Frenchman, and many experts, in fact, picking him to go through.
Well, he's a great player, Yannick. Playing for the French national team now for a number of years. And he's a really, really tough competitor. I've played him on several occasions and pretty even the matches I've had with him. But he's well capable of winning this game. And there's one or two have been said he's got absolutely no chance of beating Carl. I mean, that's cobblers. He's a very, very good player.
Well, he's knocked out a couple very good players en route to this quarterfinal, and Rob McKenna already made mention at the top of the program that he was a victim. Fell 8-4, in fact. A comfortable win for Bofees. But I can tell you that Yannick also knocked out another professional, Kevin McCallum from Scotland, and a very good player, McCallum. 8-5, that scoreline. So he hasn't really been tested as such. Not if you look at some of the other matches we've already seen on television, gone right down to the wire. But Bofees is well and truly capable of taking out Morris, and Morris only too aware of that. A nice early position, too, for Yannick. This is an early opportunity. And getting off the mark, very important, settling those nerves, getting settled with the conditions out there, the speed of the table.
When you talk about the conditions, Jim, that's something that Carl is really used to. He's won this world title before, and I really think he is the favourite by a long way. I think Yannick has really got a hard task ahead of him here.
Nothing like sitting on the fence, Alec.
It's very important for Yannick to finish this here, just to show that he has come here to win and means business, because basically all the reds are there to be potted.
I can tell you what, I think Yannick's game's improved over the last year or so now, because he has been playing all his tournament play in the UK. He's flying over to London and Manchester and playing on the UK tour and playing against the top players in the world all the time. He's going to improve your game, and very strong at this moment in time.
Well, these are the sort of opportunities, too, that will send a message if he can finish from here, and he looks set to. Just roll this into the center pocket. Almost looks like the natural angle will afford position to the last red, and then he should be home and dry. Looking to take no prisoners. Carl Morris, they call him Houdini. Well, we saw Houdini act in the last quarterfinal, and the winner of this will be playing that particular Houdini. Phil Harrison came back from 8-3 down against Lee Kendall to book his spot in the semis, and that's who the winner of this will face. Yannick Bofees right now all set to take the opening rack, the opening frame, and hopefully lay a foundation for more to come.
Great start this from Yannick.
No problems for the young Frenchman. Over and out. He takes the opening frame against the break, it must be said. So that's a great way to start for Bofees. 1-0 over Carl Morris. Carl Morris now knowing, if he didn't before, that he's got a match on his hand. Former champion of this event. He's going to have to watch Bofees break now. Carl Morris just trying to get the referee's attention. I don't understand what the problem is.
I think he's been asked to sit down, Jim, and he wasn't too happy about that. He wants to watch the break, and he's ready to jump in there and pounce at his first opportunity.
Yannick Bofees all set to break. Not a very good split. And doesn't look like anything went down. Not the hardest break you're going to see in this event, that's for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't very powerful, was it? He's a little shake of the head. Always Dewey's a place that they hit the soft break. I don't like it at the end of the days. I feel that you really have to, you should slam the balls, and like I said before, it's the most important shot in the whole frame. If you look, he dipped his legs, but there's just no power there, was there, Alec?
I think he was quite surprised himself. He was trying to hit him hard, but the look on his face, I thought he might have been trying the old defensive move, 1-0 up, and just sit back and see if Carl will try and pot out off the break. But I think he's quite happy to play the defensive game.
I think that's going to be a key point, Alec, too, that I think if Carl can force a tactical battle in this match, that will favor him heavily.
They don't call him Houdini for nothing. I've seen him play some really tight, hard games. Doesn't give nothing away.
And he's just glued that cue ball to the top cushion. No easy starter here for Bofees.
30 seconds.
Long yellow looks to be available. That was a good opening pot.
Not landed very well, though. As you can see, he's landed tight to the red ball. Just wondering if he has could play the double into the left-hand centre pocket. I think you should just walk round to have a look at it now.
Taking a lot of time. I always like to see that from a young player. Just shows trying to get his thought processes working in line, and can't quite get through to the yellow nearest the pocket. Well, in fact, he can, and knocked it in.
And I don't think he wanted to do that. Just look where he's left the cue ball.
Well, the way that he played the shot, Tony, is what made me believe that he couldn't quite see enough of it. I think if he thought he could have got that much, he could well have played on another yellow.
Yeah, he's shaking his head.
Secured the opening frame. in very convincing style.
30 seconds.
He's just held the cue ball there behind the yellow, trying not to leave Carl Morris with anything easy to go out.
Yeah, but the problem here, Tony, by doing that, he's left the yellows a little bit harder now.
There's the Houdini himself, Carl Morris.
Just in case you didn't know who he was.
Seconds.
And Carl will do nothing in a hurry. You'll probably hear that 30-second announcement quite often. And we do have a clock in the arena. 60 seconds allocated for these players to play their shots. That was just about 47 seconds, in fact, for Carl to play that shot. And you'll see that quite often. Very measured in his approach, calculating. And for those of you that may not be too well aware, Carl Morris is deaf, and believe it or not, one of the reasons that they've installed a clock in the arena is for people like Carl Morris. I believe Phil Harrison is also hearing impaired, but they used to tap the table to give him his warning, and they don't need to do that anymore. Give him the clock. Good shot that from Bofees. He's just secured the bottom left corner.
Looking to play the foul, I think.
I think he kind of dragged us out of there, Tony. Yeah, there you go. There's just enough room there for that.
A little unlucky, though. He's just bumped that red up to the other yellow and put both of those in jail for the time being.
I think there is
just on
still
the left-hand cushion.
Sorry, Jim. I think there's still an opportunity there for Carl to attack these balls and maybe finish the frame here.
He's got himself the angle now to kick straight into the red and yellow you just were talking about, Jim. And that's the point of contact he wants to make with the cue ball. And this would open everything up. Thought about it,
see
didn't
that disappear. Anxious moment for Carl Morris there.
Well, he's left himself playing his next shot a little bit thinner than he would have liked. Have to put a lot of bottom on the cue ball. He's going to jack the cue right up in the air. Then he stood on one leg.
Good effort again. Still work to be done. He's bumped that yellow, and he's having a very anxious look right now to see if the red just above the yellow passes into the bottom right corner as we look.
Well, obviously must go, Jim, because of that shot that he just played there.
We're going to know very shortly.
Well, even
We'll
if it sits over the hole, Jim, it'll still be all right. He's progressed the frame. There
Well,
you
you
go.
see there
There's
is
room.
path. Only just, though.
He tried to play it off the yellow just to make sure, but he just missed the yellow there.
One more look. Yes, I think you're right, Alec. I think he did try that cushion yellow and in. A little riskier. I think he can count himself lucky the pace that he's played it, that he's still stopping the yellow.
I think Yannick will want to get his other yellows in front of that red, the bottom right-hand corner. Well, he's played the snooker. Not sure if he's got it. I would have thought there should be some of the red stuck out in the middle of the table. No, and there you can see it. In fact, it is a total snooker.
Just taking a good look now, getting the perspective up the top cushion and back down to the open red. And that wasn't what he wanted.
Well, that will have to be put down to a bad miss. You'd expect Carl to hit that red out of the snooker. I'm sure Carl expected to hit it.
Mind you, again, even though he's giving 2 visits away, he's not left anything easy from which to get started for Yannick.
Yes, but Jim, he's only got to open up the red and the yellow in the bottom right-hand corner, play that yellow off the rail, off the red and into the corner. If he opens it up and it doesn't go in, he's still got the opportunity of finishing the frame.
Well, it looks like exactly what he's going to try and do. Yellow, cushion, in an ideal world, off the red and in.
That looks pretty good.
Well, I didn't even think there was a pocket there for that, and I guarantee you that wasn't what he intended, but I think he'll accept that.
Wait, so I think he's going to have to try and take this yellow into the centre pocket module. It's going to be a tough shot because he's going to get his next one. What about knocking the yellow out next to the red?
That's exactly what you have to do, Tony, just to waste the shot. Waste it early, then all the balls are there with a second visit to play.
30 seconds.
It's a risky shot this, Tony. If he misses the pot, then it really brings Carl back into the frame. Well, now he's got exactly the same shot. He's just going to waste the one shot again.
Let's see where this red's going. He's going to maybe try and place it at pace and shoot the red out of the jaws and out of the way of all those yellows. But this could go anywhere. Risky shot. Right, it's turned out quite nice for him. I don't think he's going to complain about that.
Now he's got to do the business, but the 3 remaining yellows nicely into the open. And this situation completely turned on Carl Morris as soon as he missed that open red from the snooker. Well, that was an anxious moment.
Close to the centre pocket, wasn't he?
Body language willed that cue ball away from the middle. Still, his movements strike me as though there's a lot of anxiety there. He's got to try and just get the reins on that a little bit. A lot of unnecessary motion. But the more frames that go his side of the score sheet will go a long way into settling those nerves.
He's looking exactly where he wants to be to play the 8 ball into the right-hand centre pocket. Doesn't have to be that precise with it. I mean, anywhere on the left-hand side, just rolling this yellow in, he's going to be pretty good on it. I think that'll do him.
I think that'll do him very nicely. Well, that looked like a bit of a kick, but safely to the bottom of the pocket. And again, Yannick looking very nervously at the table. Happy to see that one disappear. It doesn't matter. 2-0, Yannick Bofees over Carl Morris. Frame number 3. Morris looking for a ball off the break here. Just positioning the cue ball. And now, hopefully, he wants to see either red or yellow to the pocket. Any ball but the white. And Houdini might well have to perform an escape act if he digs himself a hole, such as starting to appear now.
Well, it's unbelievable, really. I mean, the amount of times the cue ball's gone in that centre pocket is phenomenal. But you have to say it's a poorly controlled break shot.
Has to be. It wasn't kicked in, Tony. It went straight in, so there's no other excuse. Yannick Bofees looks like taking yellows on.
30 seconds.
The yellows are in the open. The two that are together, just the bottom quadrant of the pool table, certainly look like they may have to be developed. But having said that, if he gets on that one loose yellow, could avail position to the opposite middle.
Yellow ball's in play.
Shot there from Yannick.
And I think he's going to be able to attack that situation very soon.
He just wants to make sure he leaves himself pretty straight on the loose yellow at the left-hand side now. Just going to pot this in the middle first. And then those two yellows that join together will both go in the right-hand centre pocket.
30 seconds.
I don't think there's any real need to do that and move forward with the white boys. He's going to have to kick into them now, and I didn't really feel there's any need, did you, Jim?
Not at all. It looked to me like all he had to do was leave himself straight, and he was going to be able to drop on either one of those two yellows to the opposite center pocket, as I said earlier. It looked the natural way to go, and anytime you start moving the balls around, you're playing with faith a little bit.
That's right. Well, he's going to be playing with pace now, and he's made the putt harder than it should be.
30 seconds.
Well, a mild ripple of applause there, because really where he's left the cue ball is not easy cueing. Ideally, he'd like to take the yellow that the cue ball's nearest to in the top left-hand corner, but because it's so close, it'd be very easy to either strike the cue ball twice or the cue ball come back and hit the tip of your cue. And there you see there's only about an inch and a tiny little bit.
30 seconds.
What other options does he have, Tony?
Well, I tend to maybe play the ball at the bottom of the table, but it looks like he's trying to chop it in the left-hand centre. That's a cracking shot. Very, very good shot from the young Frenchman.
Well, if this fellow's nervous, he's disguising it as well as anybody.
Great position as well. And the Frenchman stamping his authority on his match. Tries to pot this, drag the cue ball over to the left-hand side of the table.
30 seconds.
Potting them very cleanly into the pockets. They don't touch the sides when Yannick pots them.
Many thought that Carl Morris came into this as a big favorite. Well, think again. That scoreline isn't about to read 3-0 to Morris. And the 8 disappears. Yannick Bofees with a dream start to this quarterfinal. It's a race to 9. He's a third of the way there. 3-0 over Carl Morris. And you have to feel that the experience playing in the UK all year that Yannick Bofees has benefited from has really put him in good stead here. I also get the feeling that there is no intimidation, something that one would have had to assume might have been apparent. And the break off in frame number 4, and a considerably better look for a break from Bofees now. And the balls have split very kindly. And those were hit with a little more authority.
Nice cue ball control as well, just brought it straight back towards the top of the table.
pick a color, fellas. Is it red or yellow? They both look pretty enticing to me.
Well, I think I'll be tempted to take the yellows, which means Yannick will probably go for reds.
30 seconds.
I don't think his first yellow is quite that easy, so he really hasn't got an option.
That's a great shot there from Yannick. I did say go for the reds, didn't I, Yannick?
I thought I heard reds.
Well, he's certainly opened up the frame again, and it's an incredible start, but remember what happened in the last quarter-final? As Lee Kendall went charging off into the distance, and you didn't think Phil Harrison could come back. Well, it could be just one of those tournaments.
I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, or whether you guys will remember it, but when Yannick played Quinton Hahn in 1999, in I believe it was the semifinals, I think he was in front at the mid-session interval.
He was indeed. I do remember that one, Jim. I was in the studio for that game.
And so Yannick, well, if nothing else, that too will put him in good stead for this match. He's not going to take anything for granted. A win isn't a win until you get to 9.
Reputations mean nothing to Yannick. He's not scared of anybody. Very, very good player. He's got a very strong mind about him and a determination.
Well, they do say the hardest frames to win are the first and the last, Jim.
It's always been the case, and he's over one of those hurdles. We only need to refer back to our previous quarterfinal to realize what the second hurdle was like. You have to feel for poor Lee Kendall. But again, that knowledge, and Yannick Bofees, I believe, was a studio guest. No, he was a studio guest earlier, but he was definitely in the crowd and would have seen what had happened to Lee Kendall, so there'll be no prisoners taken. And
30 seconds.
he's played that with a lot of side. Now onto his choice of reds, the one below the black or the one bottom right. I've got a feeling that if he took the one bottom right and just tried to drop on the red into the top corner pocket, it would afford ideal position to the red below the black, and again, black to the left center.
Well, I know Yannick likes to take his time. And I do know he's once said to me, he said, when he knows he's close to the 30 seconds being called, he waits until it's gone so he doesn't get it called when he's actually queuing on a ball.
30 seconds.
I think I'd take the one near the black, Jim.
Well, he's got no other shot now except for the red on the right-hand side. He's going to be taking it up into the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, the way that he's played that was the way I suggested, but I was looking for him to get better on the red than this, Alec. And, you know, I think in hindsight, given that he still looks a little edgy to me, your path might have been easier.
Well, what I was thinking was to pot the red near the black.
And just draw in behind the red he's looking at now.
And possibly go up to the top left-hand corner into an open pocket rather than a sharp closed pocket.
Absolutely right. But it's there.
That's a cracking shot.
No doubt whatsoever in that pot.
And there's
Darren
Phil Harrison.
Yes, there's Phil Harrison. That's the man that's awaiting the winner of this quarterfinal. And they have to be impressed. Not too impressed, mind you.
And just look at this shot. Clean as a whistle. Dead center of the corner pocket.
30 seconds.
I don't like the way he struck that one, though.
Don't like the cue ball.
He let go of the cue too early there.
How much do you want, Jim, on the far jaw? If you miss these shots, it's far jaw.
After the last couple of shots, Jim, he won't miss this ball. I think he's queuing quite well. He stayed down over the shot, and we'll see.
Right into the center of the pocket. Yannick Bofees has yet to put a foot wrong. 4 frames played, 4 frames in the bank for Bofees over Carl Morris, the number 2 seed. Carl Morris all set now. Frame 5. He is yet to slot one on his side of the scoreboard. And he doesn't want to wait too long.
And this doesn't look too helpful towards him.
Nothing happening for Carl Morris at the moment. Once again, a solid break.
Yeah, it's good enough split, isn't it? Well, he's putting the power into his breaks. He's just been unfortunate. You can't believe it.
Had a quick look at yellows, and they look pretty good. Reds don't look half bad either.
Well, I like the red balls, me.
30 seconds.
So, of course, Yannick's going to take the yellows because they're the better balls.
No, I think reds are the choice this time, to be honest. He's gone for the yellows. They just seemed a lot easier, the reds.
Well, he has got a nice angle on this yellow, Tony, in the centre pocket to knock the only yellow that's left on the rail. I mean, what is wrong with the yellows?
Well, the reds didn't have the knock into anything.
Just a shake of the head. And right now, a man on a mission is Yannick Bofees. Who could have predicted this sort of start from him?
30 seconds.
Well, we saw Carl in a state of shock. I mean, the game's been going no longer than 40 minutes, and he's 5-0 down. He just can't believe it, and neither can I, really.
Well, that could be a very prophetic statement, Alec. He's sitting at 4, and if he clears up here, that 5 will be well and truly there. A Freudian slip. He obviously fancies this one, and we know this cushion holds very nicely. As long as he doesn't hit this at pace, that pocket will be quite generous.
He's hit it with pace and quite confidently, Jim. He's got perfect on that yellow.
Well, why wouldn't he be confident? He's playing like a dream at the moment, a young man. It's like he's made the table his own at the moment.
And what's the saying, Tony? When I miss, then you can have a shot?
I'm still waiting for Yannick to miss. He's got the cue ball on a piece of string at the moment. Superb.
This is magical stuff from Bofees.
He's done all the hard work, and he's just come back to ABC. He's just going to roll this one in the middle with a little bit of stun. Screw down near the black with an easy yellow in the middle. Then the yellow in the corner and black in the opposite corner, in the opposite centre, sorry.
Picture perfect. Just stop the cue ball right there. And he's nothing to do but roll in the last yellow, and he's sure to finish on the black.
Well, what can you do when the man's playing like this? Just sit there and take your medicine.
I just had a thought then, Jim. Could it be 9-0?
Well, it could.
There's never been a 9-0 in this NBC World Championships. But we were close in our second quarter-final with Stephen Horan.
We got to 8-0.
Fellow countryman and roommate was 8-0 at the interval, but got 3 on the board.
And old Yannick, he didn't come without his support, did he? There's the French side, and they're here to support their countrymen. And he happens to be the captain of the French team as well. Leading by example right now is Yannick Bofees. 8 for a 5-0 lead. And Alec, you were right. 5-0 it is. Bofees over Carl Morris. One-way traffic heading all Yannick Bofees' way. Yannick Bofees all set to break here. Frame number 6. Comfortably in front. And looking every bit a champion at the moment.
Notice he's doing a bit of gardening there. He feels like he owns the table. He's the one playing all the shots, and he's worried about the way the clock's sitting and the way things are. And he's just taking his time there. He knows he's in full control here.
Bofees all set, lining up the break. Red in, 2 reds, same pocket. He is in the zone right now, Yannick Bofees. He actually would have liked that last red to have stayed on the table, would have afforded him an easier starter. As it is now, choice of colors. But how does Carl Morris wrest the momentum away from this man?
Doesn't seem to be any stopping him whatsoever.
Well, if he slots this red into the middle as Carl looks on helplessly.
Well, Carl can't say he's done anything wrong, really. I can't remember the last time he was at the table.
Difficult shot, this one. It's in the center, as everyone has been.
And they're all there again.
Well, Rob McKenna, our studio guest, went down 8-4 to Yannick Bofees. I wonder if McKenna saw any of this when he was in Carl Morris's chair. Because it doesn't matter who's occupying that chair. All they're doing is warming it.
30 seconds.
Jim, I've come a long way. I've come from Australia, and if someone told me I had to beat 2 world champions to win the world title, I'd be packing my bags and going home. And here Yannick's beaten Rob McKenna, and now on his way to beat Carl Morris. Really, that's just unbelievable.
As tough a draw as you could ask for. And Bofees right now is the maestro. The cue is his wand.
Kept him a little bit further than he'd like, but I wonder if he cuts that red, the cue ball might just contact the yellow ball. And that's what he's looking at. Cue ball hits the yellow ball and then comes down in a straight line towards the bottom of the table.
But it means 2 parts to the equation, Tony, and sometimes you can divert your attention off the intended pot. Oh, I think he snookered himself on the red. He has. Finally, a mistake from Bofees.
Not yet, Jim. He hasn't missed. Sure, he may have snookered himself, but he's got an easy shot across the table here, and if he does happen to pocket it, he's still on the black in the middle pocket.
Well, surely you can't legislate to pocket this one, though, from this position, Alec. I mean, he's done everything.
And that's a play with a lot of left-hand side if he's going to attempt this shot. He's going to play this with a lot of left-hand side check.
No, it looks natural, Tony. Not a bad effort, Jim. Not a bad... I saw your foot move. You nearly rode it in for him.
Well, you can't help but root for the young man. He's doing so well, isn't he? First chance, really, for Morris. And look at this, nothing easy. He's left nothing easy, and he's bumped the red so it's over the corner pocket just to keep the hammer down.
Well, I think anywhere on the top right-hand side of the table, he's going to snooker Yannick. And that's where he's looking. He wants to leave the cue ball. He's going to play a safety. He's been that long away from the table. I wonder if he's remembered how to play the game. No, it's a pretty good safety shot. The cue ball's tight to the cushion, as you can see. That is a total snooker.
Obviously trying to extract a mistake from Bofees, and with it the 2 visits that he feels he may need to secure his first frame. Doesn't Doesn't look like he can get it off the side cushion. He's having a look.
I'd like to see him go for the masse here, Jim. Here he goes. He's raised the cue. There we go. Let's have a look at this one.
Well, this is an exhibition shot that he's playing here. If he gets this, I'm throwing my eyes away.
Makes it slightly easier with it being near the cushion.
Well, thank God I can stick around and watch a little more.
He seemed to jump away from it as he struck it, didn't he? He was waving at the cue ball.
The reason why he's missed this, he's hit it a little bit firm. He didn't really give it a chance to swing in with the side on the white.
And Carl was trying to get the red away from the pocket, and in so doing pocket the yellow, and he's missed it. So once again, he may be looking for nothing more than containment.
I mean, he's got to be a bit cold, isn't he?
Understandably. "50 minutes the match has been in progress, and Carl Morris finds himself 5-0 down to this stage.
That's a strange shot there, Jim. I mean, if he's going to have a go, he should have hit that a bit firmer. He's left himself an awkward position. A long shot on the yellow on the rail, or a long shot into the bottom left-hand corner. So he's made it hard for himself.
I think his facial expression said it all out. He wondered what he was doing himself, surrounded by confusion.
30 seconds.
It's a good shot there, but I don't think it's a total snooker. But he's also blocked off the across the table shot.
Bofees giving it a good long look. Again, doesn't look like the snooker's too difficult. He can get to the side cushion just this side of the middle pocket. And that should avail him a hit onto the red. Just into this area, but it looks like he may even be able to see the edge of the red. Or is he going off the jaws? Clever little shot.
But was that called a total snooker, Jim?
It was, yes. Otherwise, you would have had to hit a cushion after contact, Alec, and he didn't, so the total snooker had been awarded. That's a clever little shot. Very risky way to play it. It must be said.
You see Carl just attempting another snooker here.
Long ways out, but again, he knew he played it with a modicum of safety in mind.
There you see, total snooker once again. Carl Morris not giving in on trying to extract the 2 visits from Yannick Bofees.
This is giving Yannick a chance to get out of the snooker here, really get back into this game. If he could judge the pace just to perfection and sit behind that red and get a snooker back on Carl.
30 seconds.
It'll take a good shot though.
That's exactly what he's gone for. Bit unlucky.
Well, the pace looked good, but he's hit it unfortunately too high on the side rail, which didn't let him come from underneath on the bottom rail. But the red's getting further and further away from the corner pocket, which is making a little bit less pressure for Carl.
Morris still in a position that he really can't afford to attack.
30 seconds.
He's going to buy himself a better opening shot, an easier opening shot. Looks like still a full snooker. Not a difficult hit. Well, in fact, it isn't a full snooker this time. can get through to the right edge of the red as he looks. And that means he has to hit a cushion after contacting the red. So he's not going to be able to roll this one, Tony.
He's still going to come to the side railing across. I think he's going to try and maybe get the red to the bottom right-hand corner.
30 seconds.
Well, he's had a bit of a fly at that one. I think he got fed up in the end of playing all these shots from that end of the table. Well, it's thrown down the gauntlet now anyway. Carl's going to have to pretty much go for the finish now. They're all there for him.
Not the best shot that Carl's going to play right there.
He's doing it tough, isn't he?
Well, he's just not had a chance to really get a good feel for the table, the way it's playing, get that cue arm going. This is nothing more than rust. Oh, that's a superb pot, that one from Carl Morris. Retrieved the situation nicely. He knew expectations were high when he came into this quarterfinal. He can ill afford another mistake, already 5-0 down.
That's a good shot from Morris. In perfect position now, and in line to get his first frame on the board. And there'll be a big sigh of relief from the Morris camp should he deposit these two balls.
Perfectly positioned onto the black. And the former Embassy Whirlpool champion finally bothers the scorekeeper, takes his first frame in this quarterfinal, 5-1 to Bofees. Frame number 7 sees Carl Morris at the table. But nothing has changed. The same storyline, different chapter. The white on the table, and Bofees strides to it with his choice of colors following a Morris break. Right now, either reds or yellows look like they're sitting very nicely.
30 seconds.
Looks like yellows for me, Jim.
And reds for Yannick.
Well, it looks like it's catching. Alec, Bennett have both departed out of the tournament. Yeah, in fact, I would have said the reds as well. Just got the one awkward little spot is on the left-hand side of the table. He's going to have to play a little plant. But apart from that, everything's pretty plain sailing. He's found something he doesn't like on the cloth.
You know, if that one yellow nearest the bottom left, just above the red, if it did pass into this corner pocket,
30 seconds.
that really, for me, yellows would have been the ball. But all how Yannick Bofees feels. Obviously, reds were the color of choice.
Well, surely he can't be playing the plant now. He's going to have nowhere to go with the cue ball should he play it. Unless he plays it at pace and it's a shot that you want to be playing at dead weight.
Well, obviously I've chosen the wrong ball because the yellow doesn't pass, so that's probably the only reason he's taken the reds.
You keep covering yourself, Alec. You're all right.
30 seconds.
He came a long way, Tony. Here we go. This is a big shot right now for Bofees. I certainly didn't think he played at that speed.
Well, that's it. That's what I said at the end of the day. If you're going to play that shot, the plant, you've got to play that slowly. You know the pockets are big. It's going to take the ball. You cannot be playing that at 67 miles an hour. Well, from 5-1 up, it's a pretty mad shot. I mean, if you play it slowly and you miss, you cover the pocket and you're still in command, you know?
Carl Morris can secure this frame and the next. Pull back to 5-3. Given the 5-0 deficit he faced, I think Carl Morris is still the favorite in this match.
Well, it could be a case of here we go again. Nice little shot there from Cole, just nudging that yellow and promoting it into a potting position.
And no one will be happier to hear that Carl is back on track than his father Jim in the center of your screen there. Arguably Carl's biggest fan. Follows him around to all the events. And at one stage, I believe he was the England team manager, wasn't he, Tony?
That's correct, he was. Hasn't been many father-son international management teams before. He doesn't look too pleased with that, Carl. He's still okay. He's just got to work a little bit harder now with the cue ball. He's going to have to bring it round the left-hand side of the table. And here we are. This is the first time, by the way, that Carl's attempted a shot without a safety net. And it's cracking power that he's got in there. That's a lovely shot from Carl. Well, from the awkward way he had to play that shot, he did it ever so well. That's brilliant.
You really have to admire the way that Carl Morris just patiently waited in his chair for the opportunities. None had come in the opening 5 frames, and finally when they did materialize, he was equal to the task.
And when he gets a bit between his teeth, he's a dangerous player.
And you just get the feeling that he does have the bit between his teeth now. 5-2 the scoreline. Morris has just taken the last 2 frames on the spin. Yannick Bofees just chalking up and gathering his concentration. Frame number 8. The last before the interval, and he'd love to go into it 6-2 in front. He's still got the measure of the break, though. That's been one of the noticeable differences between the two of them. The success ratio of Yannick Bofees' break compared to Carl Morris's.
Not only that, Jim, it's the splits he gets with the break. They seem to come out very, very nicely placed for him. There's always a nice spread about his balls.
Red ball's in play. 30 seconds.
On the reds. Nice opening shot from Bofees there, and you can see all remaining 5 in a line. Just a matter of keeping his head down and controlling that cue ball, and this should be like picking cherries.
Yannick Bofees plays another great shot. Needs to get right back into this match again after losing the last frame.
In fact, the last 2, Tony, it'd be very important for him to assert again the type of form back into this match that he exhibited the opening 5 frames. Carl Morris has fired back. Now it's down to Bofees to respond. And respond in the best way.
I never like it when players actually cue down. You think you're going to strike the ball and then you get back up again. It's a sure sign of nerves, and there's too much going on and hesitation in your head.
I'll tell you what else it is. It's a bit of gamesmanship, too, because that can be very disconcerting if you're the fellow in the chair. wondering when he's going to actually take the shot that you know he's going to take, and why he's taking so long doing it.
Well, he's going to be playing a long red, top right-hand corner. Got to get good position on the other red that's up at the area of the table, queuing through the black and yellow.
It's a good shot there, Tony.
Lovely shot, that's right, Alec.
It certainly helped with the cue fitting between the balls there. Otherwise, bridging over the top would have been a difficult shot, but he played it well. Just a slow pot, run up the table for a nice straight red and basically a stun for the black.
Exactly right, Alec. He wants to try and leave that last red nearest the black as straight as possible. It looks like all he's got to do is roll this in and allow the natural angle on the white to take its path. And that looks perfect.
Yeah, it's absolutely A1 position. Nothing blocking his path. Oh, he just blows his chalk.
That's the beauty of the alternating break format employed here, though, is you always get that chance. And with Bofees' break, the way that it's working, he's always in danger of breaking and finishing. The 8 down, and Beaufils is going to be enjoying a 6-2 interval lead. A very comfortable lead, and well-deserved for the 23-year-old French star. Beaufils 6, Carl Morris 2.
Welcome back to the Embassy World Pool Championships here in Blackpool for our last quarter-final. This will complete the semi-final lineup between Carl Morris and Yannick Beaufils from France. And at the moment, Yannick Beaufils, well, he's in tremendous form. He's leading 6-2, needing only 3 more frames for a place in the semi-finals. I'll hand you back to our commentary team of Alec Evrenades, Tony Holgate and Jim White.
Well, Yannick obviously has to be feeling a lot better about proceedings than does Carl Morris, but for me, this is a monster frame, this next one. Always the first one back out of a mid-session interval takes on added significance. And Carl Morris knows only too well he's got to start making some headway into this deficit. 6-2 he trails. As we join things now, frame number 9, and nothing down for Morris. And the storyline continues for Carl's break. He's got to feel like he's cursed, but he even came at a different angle there and didn't strike the top ball.
Yeah, he tried the second ball down there, Jim. He's got to try something, because if he doesn't change his break and something goes amiss, he can't win the match.
Yeah, there's a bit of sign of desperation there from Carl. Actually saw Yannick in the interval and he was shouting at himself on his own in the corridor.
He's just a bundle of nervous energy, even watching him during this match, moving about in his chair. And I saw him in the arena a good 5 minutes before play was scheduled to restart. And, I mean, he couldn't sit still, Tony, nor stand still.
No, he's a bit hyper.
He's certainly making it work. When he's at the table, he's got it completely under control.
Exactly. It's not how, it's how many.
That's usually the theory for golf.
30 seconds.
Never really heard that one for pool before.
Well, I can't play pool anymore.
Big opportunity again here, Jim.
Yeah, and it's simply because Carl Morris has not been able to initiate anything from his breakoffs. And we just saw Yannick Beaufils in the preceding frame break and finish. Well, that's how you gain momentum and stop it.
I think he's already done the hard work here. He's just got to make position now. He's got the yellow. Well, hang on. It's changed.
Still cueing as sweet as a nut as Yannick. And now off 2 cushions, it looks like he's got the angle to come down and attack the yellow nearest the black.
Well, that's the ball I actually thought he was going to take first, Jim, because the 2 yellows on the left-hand side are the awkward ones. And I thought if we could get rid of them first, then it would have made the out a lot easier and taken the pressure off. Now he's leaving him for last.
His last visit, he was on the one into the center pocket, because I see exactly what you mean. Well, here's the one beside the black, but he's got a perfect angle here to drop still onto one of those 2 yellows, so he's still on song for that.
Just wants to be playing this very, very slowly into the bottom right-hand corner.
And Tony, when you start rolling balls, and there is a little distance between the cue ball and the yellow, it's imperative that you stay still. And if Yannick is nervous at all, this is where those nerves can be exposed. So if a mistake is to come, it could come here if he elects to slow roll this.
Well, he played that with side. You notice he tried to drag it with side, and that's thrown the cue ball off. That's why he's missed a pop, and he's complete. Well, he's really angry with himself and not a happy camper. You see him dig down with the side there, and that's what's thrown the cue ball, hence missing the pot. Carl's going to try and play the snooker, and he's got it successfully.
Total snooker.
Not an enviable position that confronts Yannick right now.
Straight across. Played it okay, but I wonder if he's left enough room for the red to go off the cushion, off the yellow, and into this bottom left-hand corner. If he plays his shot, he could open them up, and I think it will. You can play it into the rail. Red will come down and hit the yellow ball into the pocket, opens that pocket up for everything else.
Yes, Carl definitely did not expect 2 shots out of that, but certainly got the yellow out of the way, which left him the opportunity to play the reds down inside.
Frame-winning chance for Carl Morris.
It does look tight though, Tony.
Half a chance. If nothing else, he can secure the pocket again. That's a worst-case scenario.
He's been there a long time with this ball. And
Time running.
so he must be near the mark with the clock. I believe he played that at about 58 seconds. 2 seconds to spare before a time foul would have been called. And
No, you never want to leave it that close.
so that's the concentration. He's took his mind off the clock.
I think Yannick's back in this frame. He hasn't come out really in a good position after belting them balls in. With that red still on the rail there, it's put Carl under a lot of pressure still. The yellow's quite available. He's pulled up short on that, so he's really doing it tough here.
He's going to leave himself the double. He's going to try and kick it off the rail. And that's a great shot to fall in that gap. Can also use the yellow ball now as he places down the rail to hold the cue ball.
Well, I don't think it's that straightforward here, Tony. I think it's going to be difficult for him to pot this red and hold position from that yellow. And this is a very missable pot.
I think you'll find him just run across the table and back, try and get back into his position here where the red is right now. He won't be hitting the yellow. See, he's playing top on the white there.
30 seconds.
Never easy. And look at this. Bofees outweighted Morris.
That's what I would have recommended trying to go on the yellow, because you could have played it softer down the rail, Alec.
Yes, but you know that's a tough shot as it is, and playing it with the right-hand side throws the ball away from the hole, makes it an even tougher pot.
Now, I don't know whether or not that black is available to the left middle pocket. Very acute angle, if in fact it is.
30 seconds.
It's a nice angle on this yellow to pot it in the middle, come off 2 cushions, and leaves him a perfect angle to get right behind that black, which will make it pretty easy in the middle if he gets right behind
and
it.
Even if he does miss it, he should snooker. Should end up snookering Carl Morris, but boy, there's not a lot of room there. But as you said, Alec, he can get right behind it and play it in a fashion that if he misses it, he's not going to leave the red for Carl. Wants to drop right in behind this 8. Well, I don't think that's exactly how he wanted it done.
Right. I mean, I don't particularly think that would have been too hard if he was, you know, like 10 inches away from it.
Yeah, he didn't need to be this close, Tony, but he's the wrong side of the 8 to be able to do what I suggested.
Could play snooker.
I wouldn't advise a snooker here. Although he could sit right in behind there and make Carl go off 2 cushions, which would make the shot tougher.
30 seconds.
I think he is playing the snooker.
Great shot there from Yannick Bofees.
I think I would have been tempted to have a go at that, Jim. A fine cut in the middle would have left the white on the right-hand side of the table, which may have left Carl a really tough pot on the red. I don't think Carl will miss this red, which will then leave Yannick a very tough shot up the top corner.
Well, it's difficult for us to tell just how tough that pot was into the center. We'll never know now. But really, if nothing else, Yannick Bofees is betting that Carl Houdini Morris is not going to be able to escape this trap. If he hits this red, the pressure once again falls right on Bofees, and he's in a worse position than he was before. So it's all on the hit here, and it looks like he's straight in off. Oh, he's got it. Look at this shot from Carl Morris. Wow. Well, Yannick Bofees wishes he'd gone for the black now, no doubt about that. Looked like that cue ball was going straight into the corner pocket and just touched the red.
You know the old saying, Tony, never give a mug an even break. Now, I'm not calling Carl a mug, but I'm just saying, when you get an opportunity, you've got to take it.
30 seconds.
Yeah, this is an impossible hit.
Foul.
2 visits to Carl Morris.
Really not a lot Yannick could do there. He just touched the red to make Carl waste a shot on his first visit, which will then bring it back to maybe an even money shot on the game, unless Carl happened to play a push shot to get the red and the black both off the cushion.
That's right, Ace. It's a tactical foul that
30 seconds.
Yannick's played there. Obviously, there can be no sort of free ball or foul snooker because he's touching his own colour. Not easy to set this up with your first shot and make it potable.
You see he's got the black off, but obviously left himself a really hard cut down the rail there.
Well, I think it might play the double, you know, Alec.
I think you're right, Tony.
Play it in a way so as to cover the pocket if he misses it. Pocket weight.
No good. It's straight on the black for Yannick there.
No good. It couldn't have been any worse for Carl Morris. The simple 8 for Bofees and a 7-2 lead. And down it goes. 7-2 confirmed. Yannick Bofees, just a smattering of applause there. I don't think anyone knew how that one was going to unfold. But 7-2 confirmed. Bofees just 2 away from a place in the semifinals. Finally, nothing down for Bofees. I think that might be a first. Other than the opening frame, I believe. When Yannick broke, might have been frame 2. It was the only time he never made a ball off the break, apart from this one right here. I think Carl knows he can't afford any more mistakes. He doesn't want to have Yannick Bofees get to 8 and be on the cusp of a victory. And a very monumental victory at that against the much fancied Carl Morris.
Well, he's certainly got a good opportunity here, Jim, on the yellows. All the balls available, nothing on cushion.
30 seconds.
Just needs a roadmap to work out which way to go.
Limitless choices. As long as he's certain in his mind, so that when he does get down, there's no more guesswork. Phil Harrison and Jim Morris on the right. That's Carl's dad. Phil Harrison obviously awaiting the winner of this quarterfinal. Again, Phil, just an unbelievable victory in the quarterfinals over Lee Kendall from 8-3 down. He took the last 6 to run out a 9-8 winner. Good shot there from Morris.
Yeah, great shot. Absolutely pinpoint position now. Just looking where he wants to be. Doesn't have to do a right lot with the cue ball. And that will do him. This frame all but over. Most straightforward stuff from here. Just rolls this yellow in, rolls the black in the other corner.
Good job this from Carl. And against Yannick Bofees' break, which has been formidable.
Just a little bit awkward to get his hand round.
Little exhibition stuff in the quarterfinals of the World Championship. No danger. Carl Morris staying in the hunt. 7-3 the scoreline. And Carl Morris will be breaking in frame number 11. Frame 11 of a possible 17. Ball into the center pocket.
Yellow ball pocket.
And can he get through to that red? And I would have to think that that expression really says it all. And that was some expression. Oop. Happy to see that one disappear, but cruel where the white's finished.
30 seconds.
It does look very close to whether he can get through to that red. And in fact, from that angle,
Red ball nominated.
just a slight swerve applied to the white. Should see him home. Oh, that's a great shot from Carl.
Red ball inside.
Just what he had to do, and now everything there. The most difficult ball right now for Carl is the black.
You're absolutely right, Jim. Tremendous first shot there from Carl Morris.
Seconds.
Looking at the plant. Just drop onto his choice of red. He's not hit it quite hard enough. Still in commanding position, but what was that saying you came up with earlier, Alec? Giving a chance. Tempting fate.
I can't believe he's played it that soft.
He's played it soft to leave himself an angle to try and knock the black out next shot. See there would have been an angle nicely to knock the red into the corner and knock the black off. See, that was his concern, like you said, Jim. And of course, Yannick noticed that and made the black even harder.
How about that? As Carl came to the table, the red just dropped into the pocket. That was the one that was dangling over the corner. I believe it's replaced.
No, the ball doesn't get replaced, Jim. It stays in.
Oh, it stays in. Oh, that's different than snooker rules. In snooker, it would be replaced. And, boy, that can sometimes be very... that can work against you if you're trying to cover a pocket and you get a ball in nice and deep to the pocket and it falls in on you. It can turn right around.
If that happened to be a yellow and Carl being on reds, that would have been a turnover, what they call a turnover, where there was only one shot to the opponent, not a two-shot foul. It's only one
Very
shot
interesting
turnover.
rule, Alex.
Yeah, it's like loss of turn.
Yeah.
Amazing. If he can roll this long red into the top left corner and leave himself an angle on the red top right, he may again be able to attack that black ball.
Good strike of the ball there from Carl.
Looks a bit straight though. I don't think there's enough angle on there to try and knock that black out.
And you see he's got a slight angle. Punched this just below centre with a load of right-hand side. I don't think he's going to attempt it.
No, it's no good, Tony. It's too straight.
I don't know whether or not he could play that black off the yellow into the center.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Jim. I think that's what he's looked at.
He's certainly having a good look at it, but the fact that he hasn't gone after it, unless he tries to leave the angle on the red now.
He's playing red off yellow and trying to kick the black out with this shot. Oh, he spotted both. How incredible was that shot?
Well, I want to see that shot again.
There's a Houdini special. We haven't seen one all the way through the match, and here it comes. Red into yellow. Look at the black. It chips the other red in, and he's only landed perfect on the black.
And missed it by a country mile. Nothing other than nerves cost Carl Morris that black. Look for movement. Head up off the cue. The moment. Mind you, he's not left anything real easy for Yannick, but
30 seconds.
the bonus for Yannick is that even if he does miss this yellow, he's not going to leave the black on. That was a big if. I don't fancy Carl's next shot.
How about yellow down the rail over the bottom right-hand corner where the black is, and stick the cue ball beyond the yellow at the top.
Be a beautiful thing as long as it doesn't drop.
I'll be tempted to go full-blooded, to be honest, Jim.
Be a great shot, Tony, for sure. Even just nudging it more into the open. I mean, everything is there, but he really can glue him in behind a few colors here, can't he? And almost make the snooker impossible.
I think he played the wrong ball there, Jim. He had to play the ball we were talking about. He's left the yellow on the rail. Why would you not take the yellow that was on the rail rather than the one that's already pottable?
And I'm also not too sure whether or not Carl can't get through to the area in the middle pocket, just past the middle pocket, for a path through to the 8. Watch this.
30 seconds.
That was
Miles
very, very
away.
close.
Foul. 2 minutes.
Well, there's 2 shots for Yannick now. So you would think Yannick would take these away, Jim.
But an 8-3 scoreline, if Yannick does, an 8-3 scoreline could be a perilous scoreline yet again.
I think Yannick would take that chance, don't you?
I think he'd rather be 8-3 in front than 7-4 if given the choice, Alec.
Played that pretty well. Yellow now down into the bottom left-hand corner. Bringing the cubble into this more central position.
In an ideal world, he'd love to maintain that second visit. It is a bit of an insurance policy.
30 seconds.
And that's in the heart. That's been very noticeable when Yannick has been at the table. When he is potting, those balls aren't touching the sides.
That's right, Jim. And with 2 shots to play here, he's got a nice angle just to bring the white down to the bottom of the table. Really, with a couple of options there, he must be feeling quite happy with this.
Well, that was right into the center of the pocket. How would he have felt if he didn't have the second visit? But that was dead in the heart. Watch this. Right into the middle of the pocket. You don't see that very often.
No, it's just ridiculous, really. It's so unlucky. The ball, when you go hit into the heart of the pocket, should not come back out.
What I said earlier, though, Tony, the sort of thoughts that it plants, the seeds that are planted when that happens, you can only wonder.
30 seconds.
He's only 23 years of age, and to be able to put that out of his mind right away can't be easy. Nice angle on this penultimate yellow, though, to drop onto the last one. But now he's got his excuse should he manufacture the loss.
It looks like a good angle too there, Jim. He won't need an excuse, I don't think.
For Yannick, I hope you're absolutely right, Alec, because that would be a cruel twist of fate if that was decisive.
Foul.
But, like I said, it just planted the seeds. And when you feel like the billiard gods aren't in your corner, that was a horrible shot.
I can't believe how much, it's like stunned side. It's ridiculous.
He didn't need anything on that, Tony. That was just natural to run around the natural angle.
And Carl Morris has just played a foul. He's just thrown his cue across the arena as well.
What happened was he hit the cushion before the 8, never contacted the cushion.
Exactly.
Unbelievable turn of events right there. Who could have predicted that? Bofees secures the frame, and with it, an 8-3 lead. Well, I'm not sure what's going to happen now. I think we've seen it all.
All in one frame.
Tremendous chain of events there. I'm certain that ones they'll talk about for the remainder of this championship and possibly a few more. But Yannick Bofees, the beneficiary in the end. And at the end of the day, it doesn't say how, just who. Bofees 8-3 in front now, wanting just one more frame to book his spot and a date with Phil Harrison. And a superb break, but has he gotten anything?
Open table.
Crushed that break. unsuccessfully, and Carl Morris will come to the table following this great break-off. And what does he have to contend with in his mind? One can only wonder.
Records in play.
It almost looks like he doesn't care anymore. I think he's disgusted.
I think you're exactly right, Jim. He'll soon slow down once he gets nearer to winning the frame, though. He set off not caring, but now he's thinking, well, hang on a minute, I can win this frame. And then you've got to think back to Lee Kendall, Phil Harrison match and the comeback he made.
Well, rest assured, Carl Morris was in the audience for that. He knows about that match. And he also knows that if it went once, it can happen again.
Well, the mindset that Carl has to have right now is one frame at a time. One shot at a time, one frame at a time. It's the only way he's going to get back into the winning this match.
Beautiful little shot there from Carl. And duly applauded. But what an uphill battle he faces. Has to take the remaining 6 frames, and we can say we've seen it done. So we know it can be. But you wouldn't want to be betting on it again, would you guys?
Not for me, Jim.
30 seconds.
He's not happy about some of these. The position here is going to be pinpoint, and he's snooking himself, and that's it. He's virtually thrown in the towel. Never even looked at that.
He is disgusted. He's a beaten warrior right now. It's just a matter for Yannick to put the nails in the coffin.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I've been there and done it myself, and it's easy to lose your rag in those situations, you know. You know you've made and there's a towel ready to throw in onto the table. But it's easy to get, to lose the head, and I'll hold my hand up and say, yeah, I've done it several times. Now I just accept that I'm useless and can't play anymore.
Never easy to admit, is it, Tony? Just securing the snooker on that red, developing the difficult yellow.
As you can see, it's not a total snooker. There's a bit of the red stuck out.
Look, it's very disappointing what I'm watching here from Carl, because he's got his family, he's got his supporters, he's got the England team, and he's throwing everything away. These people come here to support him, and he's just throwing it all away. It's just unforgivable, really.
That was a tremendous effort to go over, but we knew he could hit. It was easy to hit the ball, but he's obviously going to try and win the frame, and it's really, he's virtually given up, and there you see a dejected figure in Carl Morris.
Well, it's fair to say, though, that Phil Harrison could have taken the same approach, because everything was going against him at one stage, but he didn't. He knuckled down. And if you don't ever try to win from this situation, you never will. And there's the man that really, truly did produce the Houdini act, Phil Harrison. Two visits for Yannick. And this could be the beginning of the end as far as Carl Morris's run in the 2002 Embassy Whirlpool Championships are concerned. He is a former champion, a former finalist. And this year, quarterfinal stages look well to be his graveyard.
Well, all Carl's got left now is hope. A second visit for Yannick Bofees. He's got his awkward yellow out into the open. The balls are there now for Yannick.
It was a clever shot there, Tony. Normally you would think you just want to keep your 2 shots, but just wasting one there, you see all the balls link up, and really a basic pot out now.
Join the dots, Alec, this one.
then again, who knows? The ball might jump out, and that's what Carl should be thinking. He might miss one. Ball might jump out. You're never gone until you're gone.
Never mind, Alec. Carl thinking about it. The man at the table's probably thinking about it.
Well, my point is, Carl's got to be hoping. You've got to hope. You can't give up hope.
Well, that's exactly right, Alex. I mean, it's never over till the fat lady sings, but she's starting to tune up.
30 seconds.
Just being very careful. His approach to every shot.
Well, for me, I'd like to see him leave that yellow to the left center last, just because it does afford the easiest position onto the 8, and if you don't want to have to hit balls firm into these pockets.
No, you did right there, Jim. Exactly the way to go. A little bit far on that one, though.
Well, he's got to play the one in the center now.
It's
no choice.
Nice to have a little backup, isn't it?
That just means he's going to have to play the one at the top of the table with a little more pace.
Well, he's got his angle. Just to drop onto the ball at the top, just away from the top rail. He doesn't want to land on this straight. That's the only place that'll make it really difficult for himself. If he lands on the last yellow straight, he won't be able to get down for the 8 ball.
Well, ideally, Tony, he just wants to try and stay on that line, doesn't he? Just bring it over about 10 inches and stay on that line. Have a nice cut on the ball with a nice angle.
30 seconds.
That 30-second announcement was quite timely there. Right in the back of his cueing action, and do you fancy this one?
This is no certainty, let me tell you. Yeah, all of a sudden, you would like to have your hand on the table a little bit closer to the yellow, but now he's bridging off the side of the cushion, which just makes it a little bit tougher.
Alec, he's made this whole finish a lot more difficult than it could have been. I think finally some nerves have materialized.
He jabbed at that ball. He's
Great
still got
shot.
it there, but
Still one more good pot to see Yannick Bofees home.
this 8 ball for a place in the semi-finals and to line up a match against England's Phil Harrison.
Well, there's no win off there to worry about, so he's just got to play this with plain ball, a little bit of top maybe. Just stay down on the shot.
It's there. Yannick Bofees has taken out the former world champion and number 2 seed this year, Carl Morris. And what a convincing scoreline. 9-3 it reads. Yannick Bofees through to the semifinals where he meets Phil Harrison.
Absolutely delighted. He wanted it badly. He deserved it. He played extremely well tonight. He's through to the semi-finals. Let's just take a look at the quarter-final results. We had a couple of very close matches, didn't we? Started off with Pat Holtz defeating Appleton 9-8, and then Jason Twist very comfortable 9-3 over Steve Horan. Phil Harrison, performance of the tournament so far, 8-3 down 1-9-8, and we've just seen the Frenchman Yannick Bofees defeat Carl Morris 9-3. So the semi-final lineup looks like this. Jason Twist, seeded number 4 in this event, up against the Scotsman Pat Holtz. Phil Harrison up against the Frenchman Yannick Bofees. Rob McKenna, the 2-time world champion. You've seen everything, you've done everything in the world of 8-ball, but that was a great match.
That was a wonderful performance there. The only surprise for me there was the way Carl just sort of gave in at the end, because he's really known to be a fighter and he never gives in, but that's a little bit of a surprise, but it was a tough match for him. A few things didn't really go his way, and I just felt he thought it wasn't going to be his night, and he just threw the towel in, basically.
Let's talk about Yannick, because on the whole, I thought that was a very, very polished performance.
Yeah, as I said, I played Yannick in the previous round, and he played perfect ball then, and he done virtually the same this evening. But the biggest surprise for me is the way he handled himself in the arena. He was absolutely perfect.
We got some big names left in the event. Who do you think is going to lift the trophy this year?
I think no disrespect to the bottom 2 in the draw, but I think the winner of the top game will go on and win the title.
There's still a very long way to go. It's been a great day's entertainment. The semi-final lineup is complete. Join us next time. Until then, from all of us here at the Embassy World Pool Championships,